Hello everyone, you guys are welcome back to my YouTube channel. Is your out and about lady here in New Zealand anytime, any day. So I have got a guest with me here today. Her name is Tembie, and I would leave her to introduce herself before we get right into the topic.
So my name is Tembie, and yeah, I live in New Zealand. So I moved to New Zealand just over a year ago, and I have been running like a finance slash New Zealand YouTube channel since. I'm a nurse, and yeah, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, thank you for agreeing to do this with us. So where are you originally from?
So I'm originally was born in Zimbabwe, but spent most of my life in England, actually. I lived in England for about 20 years or so before I moved to New Zealand. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you already said that. I was about asking you how long you have been here in New Zealand.
Yeah, no, it's only a short while ago. I only moved here in August 2021. So yeah, it's been just over a year now.
So what prompted you to leave the UK to move over here?
I just wanted to try it. And I think I've always wanted to work as a nurse in a different country. I've always wanted to travel and explore. And, when the pandemic happened, I just realized that, you know what, this is, we might not ever get the chance to travel again, So, I mean, if we get the chance, then just do it. Just do it. And I think it was mainly just prompted by just like wanting to just have a sense of adventure and fun and just to explore, really, just explore the world, before I get older, before I settle down or anything. So I'll say mainly just like fun and just like trying it out. That was my motivation.
Yeah, good thinking that you travel around before you settle down. I know what you mean.
Is it harder with kids and stuff?
It's very, very hard. Yeah, I'm not scaring you, but it's hard. But when you get there,
Yeah.
you see yourself walking around it.
No, I can imagine. I can definitely
Yeah.
imagine. And a lot of my friends who have kids do say that to me, that you should travel before you have kids. And I'm like, yes, let me just take their advice and actually do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you are doing it. So what is the process of registering here in New Zealand as a UK licensed nurse?
Yeah, so in order to register here in New Zealand, you need to go through a process. But basically, in order to register here as a nurse in the UK, you need to go through a company called CGFNS. And what you do is you register with CGFNS, and then what you do is that you send them, or you get your old employers and like your university to send them like your transcripts and proof that you've worked for your previous employers. All of the information has to come directly from your employers and or university. So that process takes a very long time, or it can take a long time, to chase up those people to get them to send those details. But once the CGFNS process is finished, they then send the information to the New Zealand Nursing Council. And then with the New Zealand Nursing Council, you just have to do a police check. I think you need to do a police check just to make sure you haven't got like an international criminal record or whatever. And then from there, it should be pretty straightforward because they've already got the proof of the fact that you're registered already in the UK from the NMC. They've already got all the information from CGFNS from your old employers, as well as your university. So once all that information is with the New Zealand Nursing Council, it's about sort of 4 to 6 weeks before your registration is approved.
Okay, Good, thanks. So, what is the starting salary for nurses here in New Zealand? Any incentive? Is there anything that like will make it attractive for?
Yeah, so the salary structure in New Zealand is actually it's quite a strange one, I found, because it depends on what union you're registered with. So there are, I think, two main unions here, which is PSA and the I think it's NZNO or NZO, New Zealand Nursing Organization. Someone correct me if I've gotten that wrong. But they, as far as I can think at the top of my head, I think they've got slightly different pay structures. I think the starting salary, from what I remember, for like a new grad nurse is about around 64,000 New Zealand dollars. But like I said, it will sort of depend based on whether or not you are an inpatient nurse, like, working in like a ward or working in the community, or it depends on what area you're working at. But that is roughly sort of the starting sort of around sort of $64,000 as far as I know, as a new grad. But they sort of base how much you get paid on how many years of experiences you have. So if you've been qualified for like, let's say like 5 years, and then you get like a basic nursing job, that's like a normal staff nursing job, you probably come in at like step 5 of the pay scale, which would be completely different to being at the bottom. You'd be like in the middle, and then each year you progress and progress and progress until you get to the top. Or if you get a promotion, or if you apply for like a senior nursing position or like a clinical leader, clinical coordinator, that pay structure is obviously more than obviously your basic nursing salary.
Okay. So are there any differences or similarity that you can share with us between practicing here and practicing in the UK?
I think there are a lot of similarities, because I think the nurses, based on what I can see, and based on my particular sort of area of working, I work in the community. I feel like the nursing model here is definitely modeled on the nursing model in the UK. So there are definitely a lot of similarities in terms of like the medications that we do, the language that we use around patients. In terms of like the diagnoses, they're all very similar. And like I said, again, when it comes out to medications, we give very similar medications to what we're giving in the UK. The structure is very similar in terms of like, you do assessments with doctors, and in that, and it's a very like multidisciplinary team. So in terms of like the actual structure, definitely yes, it feels like the UK. And a lot of the illnesses are very similar to those in the UK as well. Sort of the types of presentations that we see, or that I encounter anyway, very similar to the UK. The assessment structure is very similar to the UK, but there'll be individual differences here and there. And I think that's just like an organizational difference, between the different DHBs and how they work, or, whatever company you're working for, they'll have, slight variations. But I would say the overall foundation is very similar to that in the UK. So, if you're coming from the UK, I feel like you'll be able to adapt quite well. And any individual differences will probably be down to like probably the culture of the workplace, or your employer that you're going for.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. Do you have any advice for anyone, any nurse practicing in the UK that's like, okay, I want to change, I want to go to another country to see how things are? What do you have to say? Trying out New Zealand, do you think you would recommend it?
Yes, I definitely recommend it, but I would say it only works if you're open-minded, because like I said, there are things that are done differently here, but overall it's very similar, but there are some variations, simply because it's a different population, it is a smaller population. We might not necessarily have like the same resources as we do in the UK, and you do have to be open-minded and adjust. So I would say that it's great. I think it's it would be good to come here, but you do have to be open-minded, and you have to kind of leave your UK nursing hat in the UK, and you have to sort of put like your New Zealand nursing hat on and think, okay, this is how things are done here. We're not in England anymore. Because, that's something I struggled with when I first moved here, that I kept thinking I was in England and was looking at everything from like an English perspective. And I had to quickly realize that I'm not in England. I have to adjust to how things are in New Zealand. And that can be quite difficult because, like I said, some things are different. So yeah, I'll just say, just be open-minded and prepared to adjust.
Prepare to adjust to Kiwi way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the culture is slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of culture shock when I arrived here too. Even till now, I'm still trying to adapt. And when you move from, I moved from Christchurch to Hokitika now. I'm still trying to adjust because there is a kind of hockey culture in the countryside that I'm dealing with now. So I understand what you mean when you say you have to be open-minded.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us, and thank you for sharing your experience so that nurses that are in the UK or in any of the 5 countries that are considered, I think Canada, US, Ireland, they follow the same process with UK qualified nurses to come here. So if any of you want to explore, we have the video out for you so that you have the glimpse of what to expect and all of that. So if there's any question, you guys should feel free to use the comment section, and I will try my best to bring her to come and answer if it's something I cannot help you with. So thank you so much for doing this with us, and thank you everyone for all your support.
It's okay. I'll just add as well, but something that I just remembered whilst you were talking there, is that it does get quite busy. I don't know, I work in Auckland, so maybe it's an Auckland thing. I don't know what it's like in other parts of New Zealand. But if you're sort of coming to New Zealand to expect it to be less busy, I don't think you'll find that. I think you might need to go to maybe a different, maybe change, your the type of hospital you're working for. But it does get busy, can get busy. And I'll just say, that resources thing, we don't have quite as many sort of other teams and structures and places to refer people as I certainly did in the UK. So it can be very busy and the workload can be high. So don't come here thinking, oh, I'm gonna just be on holiday all the time. No, you actually have to work.
Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for sharing these silent points with us. Yeah, I think it would be very handy.
Yeah.